Jacobson, and I am an English teacher at Westside. It was organized by a college professor out in California. It was sponsored through the National Endowment of the Humanities. And basically 15 teachers from around the country all met on the Isle of Man for 2 weeks, and then in Glasgow, Scotland for 2 weeks, where we discussed medieval literature and language. The first thing is you have to write an essay, and so I spent quite a bit of time on my essay, and made the application, had to get a couple of letters of recommendation, and I found out in April that I had been accepted, and after that I really didn't prepare at all. It was like the week before I left, I was throwing things into a suitcase. Believe it or not, I was most excited about getting into the literature, getting into the material. We looked at the Mabinogion, which is a collection of Welsh tales. We looked at the Ton, which is the Iliad of Ireland, and I had done an NEH seminar on the Ton a couple of years ago, like about 10 years ago, and so I was really excited about going back and going into that. We looked into Beowulf and Sir Gawain and the Green Knight. So I was really excited about getting into the text, and then I was really excited that I would be studying it with teachers who were just as excited about this material as I was. So even if it had been presented in my backyard, I would have been happy. But to study this stuff with teachers in the area from which these stories came was just all the more exciting. We were all from cool places because we were all really, really cool. I was the only person from Iowa, and we had a woman named Rachel from Wisconsin, and we were the only two Midwesterners. Quite a few people from both coasts, Arizona, some southern states. Nola had quite a thick southern accent. But yeah, we were from pretty much all over. As soon as I got off the plane, I sat in the airport at Dublin for 6 hours until my 45-minute flight to the Isle of Man took off. I got to the Isle of Man a couple of days early so I could get accustomed to the jet lag. So I basically took a taxi to a B&B and slept for 2 days. Then we all met. First day of the seminar was a Sunday. We all met at the B&B in Douglas. Our B&B was right across from the bay, and so the ocean was right across the street from the hotel. And from then on, we did a lot of field trips around the island. We got together for class most days to discuss the literature, and we managed to have some other non-scholastically related fun too. Wow. On the Isle of Man, I really enjoyed, it was quite a hike, but we went to this church that has outside this collection of what they call the Manx crosses. And so these are stones that are carved by Vikings, thousands of years old, and it was kind of cool to see those up close. We had this wonderful speaker. Her name was Katie Lewis, and she spoke to us, and she was absolutely fascinating. And I know that sounds really goofy, that was one of the high points, but sitting in a classroom and listening to this woman speak, but she was just absolutely fascinating. She talked to us about Beowulf, and that was fun. The other thing about the Isle of Man I did not know about this is that it is the home of Thomas the Tank Engine. Like all of those little tanks, all those little trains are based off of actual trains. They have steam engines that run the width of the island. And so it was really weird to get on a train that looked kind of like Thomas. That was fun. I don't really remember. I remember the strawberries on the Isle of Man are awesome. Yeah, the food wasn't really a big deal. Never ever fly Ryanair within Europe. Also, that Gatwick airport is not in Glasgow, even though they call it Glasgow Gatwick. It's not like Chicago O'Hare. No, it's Glasgow Gatwick. It's in another town. So just FYI. Other important things, so much stuff that I'm applying to British literature. I can't even keep up with everything I want to include. The first NEH seminar I did, which was like 13 years ago, and that was at Harvard, and we studied the Ton, and that I was just so enthralled with it that I ended up taking a leave of absence from my job and pursuing a master's degree in Ireland. I don't think this is going to do anything as dramatic as that, but it's given me, or it's renewed an appreciation for what I felt back then about Irish literature, medieval literature in general. But yeah, I don't think I'll be taking a leave of absence and running off anywhere.